Good morning viewers and my dear students. In the previous session we were talking about permanent mold processes such as gravity molds, pressure molds can be differentiated into cold chamber die process and hot chamber die process. So here the main difference was in the cold chamber the furnace or the melting pot is away from the die, whereas in the hot chamber process the melting pot is integrated with the dies. Okay, that is the difference between hot chamber die process and cold chamber die process. So it has got different elements and we have discussed its advantages, disadvantages and applications as well. Okay, then that was followed by the casting called the centrifugal casting, where the mold is rotating with some certain RPM from 300 to 3000 RPM, the molten metal experiencing the centrifugal force. Then that particular centrifugal force, as and when the molten metal getting into the mold, then that is going to throw the molten metal into the walls of the mold, so that can retain the molten metal up till it is going to solidify because of the centrifugal force. That is the beauty of centrifugal casting process. Okay, that could be used for producing some alloy shapes and pipes or bars. Okay, and the one more casting process we have discussed, that is centrifuge casting. Here the axis of the rotation of the mold is away, that is not symmetrical with respect to the casting to be carried out, the cavities that is to be carried out. That is the main difference between centrifugal casting and centrifuge casting. So this is and we were talking about the squeeze casting technique. It has got two dies, that is top die and bottom die. Between the top and bottom die you can place the liquid hot metal. So if you apply the pressure through the top die, that is going to take the shape of the cavity associated with that particular die. That is the concept of squeeze casting. So today you will be learning the concept called Texo casting. So this is very similar to the squeeze casting. Okay, it has got top die and this is bottom die, and these are all ejector pins. So this is semi solid metal, okay, or the metal in the plastic state, okay. So here again this is the top die and this is the bottom die. These are all ejectors and this is the mold cavity for which you can have the plastic state material or solid state metal. Okay, if you apply appropriate pressure, then this particular semi solid metal takes the shape of the cavity. That would result in the product like this. This is the product you would get through this particular process. This is the product. Okay, that is the concept of Texo casting. Okay, so this particular casting is very similar to the squeeze casting. The only difference is the raw material has got this shape of has got the face of semi solid metal, whereas in the previous case we were considering a liquid molten metal. Okay. The next concept is continuous casting process. Okay. So this continuous casting process being used in mass production process. So the pictorially you can depict the working principle of this particular process. It has got different elements, that is ladle, it has got molten metal, then this is tundish, that is comprises with a liquid metal. This is a copper die, okay. Then here it has got some channels through which you can pass the cooling water in, here the cooling water out. Okay, this is semi solid metal, this is solidified metal. These are all rollers. This is dummy bar. Okay. So these are all the elements. So let us see how actually this particular process works. Okay. So here if you pour the molten metal taken from the furnace, okay, then that is passed through the tun dish where you can transfer the molten metal into liquid metal, then the liquid metal getting into the copper die or graphite die, okay, or brass die, okay, that is basically permanent die. Okay. So this molten metal getting into the dies, and here this molten metal come in contact with the water that is being passed through these channels. So the solidification begins. So that is going to change the phase from the liquid phase to semi-solid phase. Okay. Then as on the molten metal is getting downwards, the heat transfer rate becomes high, and this particular rollers is going to pressurize on this particular solid state metal that would provide the required shape and size. So after solidification, you can have the cutting machines and you can cut the final product of your choice with the appropriate dimensions. Okay, that is the concept of continuous casting process. Okay, in continuous casting, you are feeding a liquid metal at one end and you are getting the product at the other end. Okay, that's why this particular process is designated as continuous casting process. So here the tun dish is provided. The function of the tun dish is to reduce the whirling action of the liquid metal. Okay, so here this particular process in the product is experiencing three different cooling zones. So here in the first one is the hot metal come in contact with the die. So die is fed with the water, that is considered to be the primary cooling process, where the wall of the die come in contact with the water and directly that hot metal getting converted into semi-solid state. So here the first cooling action come in this particular region where the mold die has got the channels, that is cooling water come in contact with the die's wall, then the primary cooling process taking place. Okay, in the secondary one is just below the mold, okay, where the cooling zone is existing, and the last one is radiating cooling, where this solid metal is come in contact with the atmospheric air, then due to the radiation the heat transfer taking place. Okay, this is the place where you are getting the product. So then the advantage is you can easily control the grain structure of the product being manufactured through the continuous casting process, since we have got three different cooling zone where you can control a lot of parameters, then you can easily control the grain size associated with this particular product. Okay. Then this process totally eliminates the runners, gating and sand molding, cavity making and core design and all. Okay. Then since the process is simple, then you can easily automate the process. Okay. That is the advantages of this continuous casting process. Okay. The next concept is melting furnaces. So then what is melting furnace? A melting furnace is a device which is used to convert the solid state of metal or alloy into liquid state. Okay, once again I will repeat, the melting furnace is a device which is employed to convert the solid state metal or alloys into the liquid state. That is the concept of melting furnaces. Then why this particular melting furnace is required? So the ground rule is to reach all the corner of the cavity, the liquid hot metal to reach all corners of the cavity, the pouring temperature should be always be higher than the melting temperature of the alloy or metal being heated. Okay, that is the ground rule to be followed. Say for example, you have got different alloys here. The first one is grey cast iron. So it has got the melting point of 1370 degrees Celsius, whereas the pouring temperature should be in the range of 1510 to 1590 degrees Celsius. So as I said earlier, it should have the higher pouring temperature than the melting temperature. Okay, that is the ground rule to be followed. Similarly, you can have the copper. The copper melting temperature is 1083 degrees Celsius and the pouring temperature is 1130 to 1200 degrees Celsius. Then similarly nickel, so it has got the melting point of 1455 degrees and its pouring temperature range is 1500 to 1590 degrees Celsius. Then the next one is aluminum. It has got the low melting temperature when compared to previous metal or alloys. So that is, it has got the melting temperature of 660 degrees Celsius. Then pouring temperature should be always be higher than the melting temperature, that is 700 to 760 degrees Celsius. Similarly, lead, it has got the melting temperature of 327 degrees Celsius. Then the pouring temperature is 350 to 380 degrees Celsius. Then the last metal in this particular tabulation is tin. So it has got the melting temperature of 232 degrees Celsius, whereas the pouring temperature is 280 to 290 degrees Celsius. The conclusion from this particular tabulation is to reach the molten metal to all possible corners, it has got the pouring temperature should be always be greater than the melting temperature. So the function of the furnace is to elevate the temperature from melting point to pouring temperature, and one more function is that is going to convert the solid state of the metal or alloys into liquid state. Okay. The next concept is classification of melting furnaces. So based on the fuel being used and the state of the fuel, we can classify the melting furnaces, and that is depicted in this particular tabular column. So if you feed the fuel as coke has got the solid phase. Okay, it comprises of carbon, then sulfur, hydrogen, oxygen and all. Okay, so here this particular fuel is being fed to a furnace called cupola or crucible. The crucible is basically made out of a graphite material and with some binders. Okay, that is capable of accommodating the solid metal or alloys. Okay, by feeding the heat through this solid metal or coke, you can convert the solid phase to liquid phase. So what are all the possible metals or alloys can be employed to cupola or crucible is cast iron and non-ferrous alloys are preferably allowed. Okay. The next concept is or the classification is oiled or liquid based fuels. The source of heat is extracted from the oil or the liquid. So similarly, the furnace used is crucible or pit furnace. Then you can employ or you can accommodate non-ferrous alloys and iron and steel. Okay. Then the next phase is gaseous phase. You can accommodate non-ferrous alloys, iron and steel, and you can have the furnace that is crucible and open earth furnaces. Then the last one is the heat source is through electricity. Okay. So you can accommodate different metals or alloys like steel, cast iron, non-ferrous alloys, iron, steel into the electric source fuel based furnaces, that is electric arc furnace, resistance furnace, then induction furnace. This is what the classification of furnace. So based on the nature of the metal and alloys, you can choose the furnace. Okay. Good morning viewers, dear students. In the previous session we were talking about melting furnaces. So as you are all aware that the casting process involves heating the ingots or solid metal and converting the solid metal into liquid state with the help of equipment is called furnace. Okay, that is, a furnace is the place or equipment where you are converting the solid metal or alloys into liquid state. Okay. So here we have considered different parameters while selecting the furnaces, that is the type of metals or alloys to be melted, and capacity of the furnace, and other parameters we have considered while classifying the melting furnaces in particularly for the casting process. So today you will be learning the working principle of different melting furnaces such as crucible furnace, cupola furnace, induction furnace and electric arc furnace. So the first one is crucible furnace. The crucible furnace is further classified into coke fired furnace, gas or oil fired furnace, then resistance furnace. The next one is cupola furnace. Okay, the next melting furnace is induction furnace. The induction furnace is classified into two types, that is core type induction furnace and coreless type induction furnace. The last type is electric arc furnace. Okay. So here the first one is, let us take up the first one, that is crucible furnace. So the crucible is a melting pot. Okay, crucible is basically a melting pot that is made out of graphite. Okay, in that particular one, the clay and graphite. So this crucible is meant for placing the ingots or the raw material that is to be converted to the liquid state. Okay, this is what the crucible. This is crucible. Okay, this is raw material or ingots. This is ground level. This is blower, and this is brick lining. This is mild steel shell. Okay, this is coke. Okay, so here, as I said earlier, this is basically a crucible furnace, that is more precisely that is coke fired furnace. The fuel being used in this particular process is coke. Coke is the substance of a coal, okay, that is modified chemically to have a more calorific value. In turn, you would get the more temperature. So that if the calorific value of the fuel increases, that leads to the output of the process is higher energy or heat energy. If you process or if you feed that particular energy to this particular equipment, so that you can easily convert the solid state of metal into liquid state. Okay. So here usually this particular furnaces are placed just below the ground. Okay, this is the ground level. Just below the ground level, you are placing this arrangement. Okay, this particular shell is made out of mild steel, and this base is made out of refractory bricks. Okay, and this is the crucible. This is a place where you can place the metal or alloys to be melted. Okay, so here this is the coke. Okay, so here using blower you can feed the compressed air, and once the flame come into picture, with the help of this blower, that is going to sweep around the crucible. The flame is sweep around the crucible, so that the heat, whatever the heat produced during this particular process, is uniformly distributed over the crucible, so that the ingots that is present inside the crucible is going to convert its phase from solid to liquid. Upon reaching the pouring temperature, since the ground rule is the pouring temperature is always higher than the melting temperature. So we need to keep the temperature just above the melting point of the metal to be cast. Okay, so here keep on increasing the heat so that would reach the melting or pouring temperature, so that you can take out the crucible and you can pour the liquid metal into the mold cavity. After solidification and cooling process, you can take out the product that is called cast. Okay, that is the concept of coke fired. This is coke fired furnace, crucible. Okay, the next type is gas or oil fired furnace. This is gas or oil fired furnace. Okay, so here the equipment, the furnace remains same, but the source of heat generated in this particular process is from this particular gas or oil. Okay, whereas in the previous case the heat source is from the coke. Okay, whereas in this particular process we are utilizing gas or oil as the heat sources. Okay, here again this is crucible, this is ingots, this is brick, this is refractory brick, this is mild steel shell, this is ground level, and this is spindle. This is the valve where the oil is entering into the common entrance, where here the compressed air, the air and fuel ratio in the optimum range in this particular place. This is a place where the oil and air is going to mix. Okay, the mixed charge is getting into the nozzle. This is nozzle. The function of the nozzle is to increase the velocity of the charges. So once the firing taking place, that is going to feed the heat through this particular nozzle, and this particular compressed air is sweep around the crucible, so that the whatever the heat that is going to feed to this particular system is uniform around 360 degrees. Okay. Then inside the crucible, due to this particular heat, the solid metal alloys is going to convert its phase from solid state to liquid state. Again, you can take out the crucible and pour it to the mold cavity. Okay, this is what the concept of gas or oil fired furnace. Okay, the next one is resistance furnace. This is resistance furnace. Here again the setup remains same, but the heat source is taken from the electric source. Okay, so here it has got the brick lining, then this is electric coils. Okay, this is the cross section of this particular drawing I am talking about. This is ground level and this is crucible. This is ingots. Okay, so here the heat source, the concept behind this particular resistance furnace is the resistance offered by the electric coil for the current flow. So that is based on the formula, that is heat flow is depending upon the formula, that is mathematical model is I square RT, where Q is heat generated, where I is current in amperes, where R is the resistance offered by the coil to generate heat, that is resistance in ohms, where T is the time in seconds. Okay, this particular heat is supplied to this crucible, where the solid ingots or metal or alloys gets converted into liquid state. That liquid state of metal being poured into the mold cavity, so that we could get the cast of your choice. Okay.